My beloved child, pause everything and listen, for the words I am about to speak carry the specific weight of your destiny. You are standing right now at the threshold of a divine turning point, and this message is the key to unlocking it. Finally, the moment that destiny has been quietly leading you toward is not just a suggestion, it is a summons. I need you to feel the urgency in my voice, for this is a sacred interruption, a holy awakening, a moment where heaven leans down close to whisper the truth your spirit has been starving to hear. Listen to me, my child, because what I am telling you reaches into the very core of what you have been silently aching for. This is the moment your life has been quietly moving toward, even on the days you felt completely stuck, lost, or forgotten. You have walked through years that felt ordinary and seasons that felt unbearable, and yet I tell you this with all my authority and tenderness. I have been guiding every single step. If this is landing in your spirit, pause for a breath and say out loud, I receive it. Say it now. Even when you were convinced there was no direction at all. You must understand that not a single day of confusion, not a single tear shed in the dark, not a single whispered, God, where are you? Has been wasted or ignored by me. You thought you were drifting, but you were being steered. You believed you were falling behind, but you were right on time in my plan. When you stared at your life and saw only fragments, mistakes, regrets, and missed chances, is a masterpiece in progress, being woven with threads you could not yet recognize. You wondered why some doors never opened, why some people walked away, why your prayers seemed to hover unanswered above your head. Yet all along, I was quietly aligning things in the background, steering you away from what would have destroyed you, even if it looked good on the surface. You see delay, but as protection. You see disappointment, but as direction. You see emptiness, but as room for the greater things I have always intended to pour into you. If this truth stirs you, type I'm ready in the comments or speak it now. Let heaven know you're listening. And now, here you are, standing at an invisible line in your story. One you cannot fully see with your eyes, but can deeply sense in your spirit. That restlessness inside you, that feeling that something is about to shift, that tension between what has been and what could be. That is not your imagination, that is my spirit moving, stirring, and waking you to the reality that destiny is no longer a distant concept. It is unfolding around you, within you, and through you. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You're not disqualified. Every wrong turn you think you took, I have folded into a greater right. Every broken piece you carry, I am reshaping into strength, compassion, and wisdom. And you will soon see the purpose of it all. I have watched you stand in rooms feeling unseen, walk through seasons feeling unworthy, and sit in silence feeling unheard. And event there, I was closer than your breath, writing chapters you didn't know were being written. Hear me now, the time of simply surviving is ending. The time of wondering if your life really matters in the grand scheme of my plan is giving way to a new knowing. This is the threshold. This is the beginning of a divine unveiling. Finally, the moment destiny has been leading you to is not just approaching, it is here, resting gently but powerfully upon this exact point in your journey. I am inviting you to recognize it, receive it, and walk. Listen closely, my beloved, for what I'm about to reveal will help you finally understand the mystery behind so much of your life. You have walked through years where nothing seemed to make sense, seasons where your steps felt random and your direction felt uncertain. Yet I tell you now with unwavering certainty that not a single step you have taken has been wasted or misplaced. Even the steps you thought were missteps, even the choices you regret, even the moments you wish you erase have been woven into a tapestry fairer and more meaningful than you can comprehend. If you want a next step, tap the link in the description to join our Destiny Prayer Circle, or download the short guide titled At the Threshold, a practical prayer and action tool to help you step forward. You view your journey from the ground level, where the twists and turns appear confusing, but a seat from the fullness of eternity, where every path, no matter how crooked, has been guided by my steady hand. You think certain moments were failures, but I used them to shape resilience within you. You think certain relationships were mistakes, but I used them to sharpen your discernment. You think certain tears were punishments, but I used them as preparation for the road ahead. You have carried shame for things I long ago deemed, not knowing that I folded those very moments into your calling. And now I speak over you this truth. Every step you took, I walked beside you. Every place you stumbled, I lifted you. Every path you wandered, I redirected without you even noticing. Nothing has been random. Nothing has been overlooked. Nothing has been too broken fortuitous. I have been crafting your story with a precision and tenderness beyond your understanding, turning even your most fragile chapters into foundations for the glory that is rising in you. Our life, as you move forward, you will begin to recognize how each unexpected turn, each painful pause, and each confusing moment has been necessary. Yes, necessary. To prepare you for what you are stepping into now. These as in your entering requires the wisdom you gain through suffering, the strength you gain through perseverance, the compassion you gain through heartbreak, and the courage you gain through surviving what was meant to crush you. So do not despise your past, for I have already redeemed it. Do not fear your steps, for I am directing them. And do not underestimate your journey, for it has been divinely orchestrated with purpose, attention, and love. Everything is coming together now, and you will soon see why the road you traveled could not have been any other way. Hear me, child, because I am pulling back the veil on a truth you have wrestled with for years. You believed you were wandering without direction, drifting through life without clarity, unsure of where to go or what to do. But never once were you without my guidance. Even in the moments when you felt spiritually numb, emotionally drained, or mentally overwhelmed, I was leading you with a wisdom you could not perceive at the time. You mistook silence for abandonment, delay for disinterest, and confusion for distance, but idly you now that my presence remained closer to you than your own heartbeat. There were times you prayed for signs and felt you received none. Yet I was guiding you through intuition, through restlessness, through the closing of certain doors and the gentle nudging toward others. You thought you were lost, but you were being positioned. You thought you were late, but you were being aligned. You thought you were stuck, but I was stabilizing your foundation so that when the winds of change finally came, you would not collapse under the weight of your calling. You confuse stillness for stagnation, not realizing that I often lead my children through quiet seasons to strengthen their roots before revealing the next direction. And yet, through all your questioning, am I doing the right thing? Am I heading anywhere at all? Am I even on the path God wants for me? I was whispering even when you could not hear me. Keep walking, I am guiding you. The places you thought were delays were actually intersections in my timing. The doors you thought were failures were actually my protection. The pauses you thought were interruptions were actually divine recalibrations to steer you toward destiny. I have been leading you gently, patiently, and consistently, even when your motion said otherwise. And now, as the pieces of your journey begin to align, you will begin to recognize the fingerprints of my guidance everywhere in the people you met, the decisions you made, the opportunities that opened, and the ones that closed. You were never wandering. You were being led by a shepherd who never lost track of his own. Because you followed even when you didn't understand. You are arriving exactly where I intended all along. Lean in now, because I am speaking to the version of youth that cried in the dark when noon knew you were breaking. Is every night you lay awake questioning your worth, doubting your purpose, wondering if your life had any meaning at all. I saw the nights when you wiped your tears before anyone could notice, when you held yourself together in public but collapsed in private. I saw the nights when you whispered, "God, am I enough? Do you love me? Do you even see me?" And although you felt alone, you were not. I was there. Not watching from a distance, but holding you closer than you realized, catching every tear, steadying your breath, and guarding your heart even when it felt shattered. You did not know it then, but those nights were sacred to me, for they revealed the depth of your longing for me presence, even when you thought you were far from me. You felt unworthy, but I saw you as precious. You felt overlooked, but I saw you as chosen. You felt broken, but I saw you as being remade. And while you questioned whether you mattered, I was carrying you toward a future that required every ounce of strength that was being formed in those painful moments. You could not see the beauty that was coming, but I could. You could not see the restoration, but I was already planning it. You could not see the breakthrough, but I was guiding you toward it with a tenderness deeper than words. I carried you not because you were weak, but because I loved you too deeply to let despair swallow you. Even when you felt unworthy of my love, I never stopped calling you mine. Even when you doubted your value, I never once questioned your purpose. And now as you step into this new season of destiny, you will understand that those nights of questioning were not signs of failure, but signs of becoming. You were made for this moment. And although your past tried to convince you otherwise, although insecurity tried to silence your confidence, although fear tried to chain your feet, my hand has been guiding you here from the beginning. I knew the battles you would fight, the heartbreaks you would endure, the lessons you would learn, and the strengths you would develop. I knew the version of youth that would emerge from every trial stronger than you ever believed possible. And now here you stand in front of a future that has been quietly waiting for you to grow into it. The threshold is not merely a transition, it is a divine alignment where who you are becoming finally meets what I have always intended for you. As you step forward, understand this. You do not step into destiny as a beggar hoping for permission. You step into it as my beloved, carrying the authority, identity, and refinement gained through every season you survived. This moment is not too big for you. This calling is not too heavy for you. This purpose is not beyond you. You are ready because I have made you ready. And the heavens themselves bear witness that the time appointed for you has come. Let this truth settle deep in the parts of you that still question, still ache, still wonder if anything good could come from the pain you endured. Not a single moment of your journey has been wasted. Not the nights you cried until your body trembled. Not the seasons when doubt tried to consume your faith. Not the losses that left holes in your heart. Not the mistakes you wish you could erase. Not even the moments you felt so disconnected from purpose that you wondered if you had missed my plan for your life entirely. If someone you know needs to hear this word, share this message now. Tag them or send it privately. Let this become the bridge to someone else's breakthrough. Is each of those experiences not as wasted fragments, but as sacred pieces being woven together for a greater purpose than you could comprehend in the moment? What you saw as failure is always shaping. What you saw as tragedy is always transformation. What you saw was wasted time is always preparation. Even the tears you cried, especially those, watered the soil of your destiny, softening your heart, strengthening your compassion, and deepening your capacity to love. Forgive, grow, and rise. The doubts you carried, those heavy internal battles you never voiced, became the very places where faith took root and grew stronger. And the losses, though painful, carved out space for the greater blessings I am now placing in your life. Nothing you endured has been meaningless. Nothing you suffered has been unseen. Nothing you walked through has been for nothing. Everything, yes, everything. To elevate you, refine you, and prepare you. So do not despise your story. Do not shame your path. Do not look back with regret. Every chapter, even the dark ones, has brought you to this moment, and you will soon see that what once felt like broken pieces are becoming the very building blocks of the destiny now unfolding before your eyes. Listen carefully, my child, because I need you to understand something that will shape how you receive what is coming next. Everything you endured, every hardship, every disappointment, every delay, every lonely moment, every closed door, was preparing you not only to receive what I am about to give you, but to fully recognize its magnitude. If I had given you this too early, you would not have seen its value. If I had answered your prayers in the season when you were still healing from old wounds, you would have mishandled the blessing or doubted that you deserved it. It was not that you were unworthy. It was that you were still growing into the mindset, the maturity, and the spiritual depth required to discern the significance of what I am now placing before you. The pain you went through sharpened your vision, the disappointments refined your discernment, the storms taught you to value peace, the betrayals taught you to value loyalty, the losses taught you to cherish what remains. The seasons of silence taught you how to hear memory clearly, and the long waits taught you how to treasure what does not come quickly. Now, when the blessing arrives, and it is arriving, you will not take it for granted, nor will you cling to it fearfully, nor will you allow insecurity to distort its purpose. You will recognize it as my timing, as my love, as my intention, as my fulfillment. The magnitude of what I'm giving you now is great, but so is the growth I've undergone to be able to hold it. This next chapter is not just a gift. It is a testament to the strength you have built, the faith you have chosen, and the perseverance you have shown. You are ready not simply because time has passed, but because you have become someone who can see, clearly receive boldly, and walk confidently in the magnitude of the destiny now unfolding before your eyes. Let these words strike your heart like a sudden light breaking through a long night, because they carry the authority of a truth you have needed for every long time. You don't need to fear this new season you are stepping into, for fear has no permission to enter the places where my presence is leading you. I know you feel the shift around you. I know you sense the weight of change pressing against your spirit in ways that feel both exciting and unsettling. You have waited for this moment, prayed for it, longed for it, and yet as you approach it, a whisper of fear tries to rise within you, questioning if you are ready, questioning if you are worthy, questioning if you might somehow fail or fall apart along the way. But hear me clearly, child, fear has no rightful voice here. Fear speaks from the memories of your past, but it speaks from the certainty of your future. Fear points to who you were, but I point to who you are becoming. Fear tries to anchor you in old wounds, but I lead you into new beginnings with healing already written into your steps. Do not make the mistake of assuming that fear means you are unprepared. Fear often appears right at the edge of breakthrough because the enemy senses what I am ushering you into, but fear cannot cross the threshold you're crossing. Fear is losing its grip because my presence is outpacing it. I have gone ahead of you to prepare the path, and I remain behind you to guard what is closing, while I walk beside you to steady your heart. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into fulfillment. You are not stepping into danger. You are stepping into destiny. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into alignment. Fear cannot follow you into this new place because the light I'm covering you with exposes every shadow and disarms every lie. So when you feel your heart tremble, lift your eyes to Him. And remember, I do not lead you into places where I will not sustain you. I do not open doors intend for you to enter one. You are walking into a season built by my hands, blessed by my intention, and secured by my presence. And where I am, fear cannot be. Listen to me, child, because what I am. You will change the way you see every challenge from this point forward. The battles that once left you trembling, the situations that once overwhelmed your heart, the pressures that once made you question whether you would survive. Those battles will now appear small. Not because the battles have changed, but because you have. I have enlarged your spirit. I have expanded your inner capacity. I have strengthened the foundation of who you are. And as a result, the very things that once threatened to break you will now reveal how far you have grown. You see, the battles of your past were never meant to crush you. They were meant to stretch you into a version of yourself that could hold the weight of the destiny you're stepping into now. When you faced hardship, it stretched your endurance. When you faced loss, it stretched your ability to trust me. When you faced disappointment, it stretched your ability to wait without losing hope. When you faced betrayal, it stretched your ability to discern what is real from what is false. And through all of this stretching, your spirit expanded far beyond what you recognized at the time. You kept looking at your wounds, but I kept looking at your growth. You kept noticing your limitations, but I kept strengthening your capacity. You kept seeing yourself as fragile, but I kept shaping you into someone who could not be moved by every wind that blows. And now that your spirit has become larger, heavier, more anchored, you will begin to see old battles with new eyes. What once intimidated you will now inspire confidence. What once drained you will now energize you. What once confused you will now feel simple. You have not only survived, you have transformed. Just as a child outgrows the fears that once seemed enormous, you too are outgrowing battles that once defined your pain. They simply don't have the same power over you anymore. So when challenges arise in this new season, do not default to fear. Stand tall in the stature of your renewed spirit. You are bigger on the inside than anything that stands in front of you now. Hear me with the full weight of your spirit, because this truth marks a turning point in how you will walk from this day forward. I am not bringing you into this and Tasomi and limping out of a difficult past, drained, fragile, or barely holding on. I am bringing you into this moment to someone who has been made victorious. Victorious not because life was easy, but because you refused to let hardship define you. You survived what tried to break you. You endured what tried to crush you. Your OC after what tried to bury you. And even when you felt weak, even when you felt unqualified, even when you felt unprepared, something inside you, something I planted, kept pulling you forward. That something was victory. Victory was being formed in you long before you ever saw evidence of breakthrough. Victory was being shaped in you when you kept believing even when you doubted. Victory was strengthening you when you kept moving forward, even when your heart was tired. Victory is not a moment, it is a transformation of identity. It is who you have become. And now, as I bring you into this new chapter, understand that you are stepping into it, not with the posture of a survivor, but with the posture of a victor. Survivors cling to what remains. Victors step boldly into what is next. Survivors look back at what hurt them. Victors look ahead to what awaits them. Survivors fear losing what they have. Victors are confident in what they carry. I have made you victorious not because of what you accomplished, but because of what you allowed me to do in you. You let me refine you. You let me strengthen you. You let me rebuild you. And now the victory that has been forged in your spirit is carrying you into a future overflowing with promise, purpose, and divine fulfillment. My child, you are not bar. Elamachingit, you are stepping into destiny crowned in victory. Lift your eyes to me now, my child, because the very things you once prayed for in scattered fragments, pieces whispered through tears, pieces spoken in desperation, pieces carried in silence, are now being gathered into a fullness you never imagined possible. You prayed in moments of weakness, not realizing that even your most fragile words were seeds placed into soil I had already prepared. You prayed from places of longing, believing you were asking for small mercies, unaware that I was shaping those requests into something far greater than your understanding could hold at the time. You prayed for survival, and I planned restoration. You prayed for open doors, and I prepared pathways. You prayed for peace and informed healing. You prayed for direction, and I wrote it destiny. And now, as this moment unfolds before you, you must understand what is truly happening. The scattered prayers you thought were too broken, too inconsistent, too uncertain have become the blueprint for the very breakthrough you are stepping into. There were times when you offered me only pieces because that was all you had. Pieces of hope, pieces of trust, pieces of belief. And you wondered if pieces could ever be enough, but it gathered every piece. You never prayed a single word that went unnoticed, unheard, or unvalued. When you whispered late at night thinking none could hear, I heard. When your heart prayed without words because the pain was too deep, I heard. When your spirit groaned because you didn't know what to ask for anymore, I heard, and I held every fragment as carefully as if it were the most complete prayer ever spoken. Now watch how I respond. Not with fragments, not with partial answers, not with barely enough remedies, but with fullness, fullness that meets your need and surpasses it, fullness that surprises you with its timing, fullness that reveals my faithfulness in ways you haven't yet imagined. You prayed from limitation, but I answer from abundance. You prayed from wounds, but I answer from healing. You prayed from uncertainty, but I answer from perfect clarity. And everything that once felt disconnected in your life, your hopes, your struggles, your waiting, begins to converge in this moment because I'm weaving your answered prayers together into a single movement of transformation. No longer will you look at your prayers and see fragments. You will see fulfillment, completion, wholeness, and you will know that nothing you ever prayed was too small, too weak, or too broken for me to make it whole. Heart this with the softness your heart has long needed, and the strength your spirit is now ready to carry. The chapter you are stepping into now is not one you earned through flawless steps, perfect decisions, or unbroken faith. You are another because you lived without mistakes, without doubts, without missteps. You are here because of grace. If you want more messages like this, short, weekly words to help you step into destiny, subscribe or follow now and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing. Super thanks from $50 to $100. Grace that covered you, carried you, corrected you, and continued to call you forward, even when you felt unworthy of anything good. You have spent so much of your life believing that blessing is reserved for the blameless, breakthrough is for the perfect, and destiny is for the strong. But idly you now, in this tender unfolding moment, you are stepping into this chapter, not because you were perfect, but because you were willing to keep coming back even when perfection was impossible. You stumbled at times, but as what you doubted is a wit you wrestled with. Old habits, old wounds, old fears, Isa wall of it, and still like shaping you through every imperfect step. Grace has always been the thread holding your story together. Grace met you in moments when you didn't know how to pray. Grace covered you when shame tried to convince you to hide. Grace lifted you when guilt tried to keep you down. Grace whispered to you when fear shouted. Grace steadied you when life shook you. Grace reminded you of who you were becoming even when you could barely remember why you were trying. You are entering this new chapter because you allowed grace to reach you in the places where you felt least deserving. You are entering it because you surrendered your brokenness when you didn't know how to offer strength. You are entering it because you trusted me enough to keep walking even when your footsteps were uneven. And now, as the fullness of destiny opens before you, I want you to release the lie that you must earn every blessing. Destiny is not a prize for the perfect, it is a gift for the willing, a gift for the surrendered, a gift for those who allowed me to enter their weakness and reshape it into strength. This next chapter is not a reward, it is a grace-filled unveiling of everything that has been waiting for you. Feel the weight and wonder of this truth steadily. Into your spirit, you are standing at a doorway you could never have reached through strength alone, wisdom alone, or willpower alone. You are here because grace carried you into places you could not walk by yourself. Grace cleared paths you didn't even know were blocked. Grace opened doors you were too afraid to knock on. Grace protected you from what would have derailed you. Grace lifted you when you didn't have the strength to rise. And now that same grace has positioned you at the very threshold of divine fulfillment, the place where promise and purpose meet you. You see now why certain things didn't work out earlier, why certain relationships faded, why certain dreams were delayed. It wasn't punishment, it was grace. Grace kept you from settling too low. Grace kept you from attaching yourself to what wasn't meant to stay. Grace kept you from rushing into places your heart wasn't ready to flourish. Grace kept you from celebrating victories that would have collapsed under the weight of your unhealed wounds. Grace was not withholding from you. Grace was waiting for you. And now everything is different. Not because your path suddenly became easier, but because grace has been shaping you, refining you, strengthening you, and preparing you for what is about to unfold. The doorway you stand before is not a small doorway. It is not a temporary opportunity. It is not a fleeting moment. It is the entrance to a divinely orchestrated chapter where all the threads of your past finally begin to reveal the larger picture. Destiny becomes clearer, purpose becomes livelier, hope becomes heavier in the best way. You are not standing at this doorway, wondering whether you belong. Neng, you are standing here because grace declares that you do. You are not standing at this doorway, hoping for permission. You are standing here because heaven has already granted it. You are not standing at this doorway with fear. You are standing here with the evidence of everything you survived, everything you've learned, and everything grace has transformed within you. And now, my child, as this doorway opens wider with each passing moment, know this: grace did not bring you here to leave you here. Grace brought you to fulfillment so that you may walk into very thing that has been waiting on the other side. Hear me with a clarity that breaks through the confusion of your past battles. The intensity of the warfare you faced was never a reflection of your weakness. It was evidence of your significance. The enemy fought you with such force, such persistence, such strategy, not because you were failing, but because he sensed what was approaching long before you did. You wondered why certain seasons felt like one attack after another, why the pressure kept increasing, why the battles felt personal, relentless, targeted. It was because destiny was drawing closer, and the enemy recognized the signs. He recognized the strengthening in your spirit. He recognized the maturing in your mind. He recognized the shifting in your atmosphere. He recognized the forming of something powerful inside you, something he desperately wanted to stop before it had the chance to unfold. You didn't see what was coming, but he did. And the closer you got to this moment, the more he tried to wear you down, distract you, delay you, discourage you, and make you question everything you ever believed. He struck at your identity because he feared. Our purpose, he attacked your confidence because he feared what you would accomplish. He targeted your relationships because he feared the divine connections I was preparing. He tried to burden your heart because he feared the authority you were growing into. But what he failed to understand was this: every attack he launched only pushed you deeper into me. Every hardship he threw at you only refined your character. Every lie he whispered only pushed you closer to truth. Every obstacle he built only strengthened the faith muscles you now walk with. This is why he fought you so intensely, because he could sense the arrival of the very destiny you are stepping into now. He fought you hardest right before breakthrough because he knew he could not stop what was coming. He could only hope to weaken you before you received it. But you endured, you pressed on, you survived, and now the very intensity of your past battles becomes the proof of how powerful this moment truly is. Let me show you something the enemy never intended for you to see. The attacks that came against you, those moments that felt overwhelming, those seasons that felt suffocating, were no indicators of your breaking. They were revelations of your strength. You thought the battles revealed your limitations. but they actually revealed your resilience. You thought they exposed your weaknesses, but they exposed your endurance. You thought they highlighted your fear, but they revealed your courage. What the enemy meant for harm became the very instrument that exposed what I had planted inside you long before the battle began. Look back for a moment, not with pain, but with spiritual clarity. Do you see how you kept moving even when you were exhausted? That was strength I placed in you. Do you see how you stood firm even when fear gripped your heart? That was strength I placed in you. Do you see how you continued to believe even when disappointment piled up? That was strength I placed in you. Do you see how you held on to faith even when everything around you told you to let go? That was strength I placed in you. The attacks did not weaken you. They awakened you. They awakened the depth of your spirit. They awakened the authority in your voice. They awakened the fight in your soul. They awakened the perseverance that had been dormant, waiting for its moment to rise. This awakening wasn't accidental. It wasn't random. It wasn't misfortune. It was preparation, because the destiny you're stepping into now requires a strength that is tested, proven, and unshakable, a strength that only forms through battle. So do not resent what you went through. Do not shame what you survived. Do not curse these seasons that were heavy, because those seasons shaped you into someone who can carry what comes next. Your strength is not hypothetical. It is lived experience earned through endurance. And now that same this becoming the foundation of your destiny. Feel my nearness in this truth, child. Because it reaches into the deepest, quietest parts of your heart, the places where your pain was too heavy for words. Even your silence in prayer was heard. You thought you had to speak for Met to understand. You thought your prayers were only valid when they were eloquent or strong or spoken with confidence. But I heard you just as clearly, perhaps even more clearly. On the nights when you had no words left, when exhaustion stilled your voice, when sorrow tightened your chest, when disappointment numbed your thoughts, when the pain within you was so deep that your soul could only exhale a quiet hatch. I heard I heard those unspoken cries. I heard the prayers your lips never formed because your heart was too tired. I heard the prayers hidden beneath your sighs, beneath your tears, beneath your silence. Your silence was no emptiness, it was communication. Your silence was not distance, it was vulnerability. Your silence was not faithlessness, it was surrender. And I understood every bit of it. There were moments when you sat in stillness, feeling disconnected, believing that your silence meant you had failed in prayer. Yet that silence was as a creed offering to me, an offering of raw honesty, an offering of trust without explanation, an offering of presence without performance. It never needed perfect words from you, it needed your heart, and even insolence. Your heart spoke volumes. And now as I bring you into the fulfillment you once prayed for, know this: the silent prayers are the ones I am answering most loudly. Those deep wordless cries, the ones that came from the core of your being, were the prayers I built this moment upon. You never prayed alone. You never cried unnoticed. You never sat in silence unheard. With you, listening to every beat of your heart, responding in ways you are only now beginning to see unfold. Let your heart lean into this truth with the tenderness of someone finally hearing the answer they have waited years for. Every silent plea you ever carried, those quiet heart cries you thought evaporated into the air, are now becoming manifested promises. Nothing you whispered in vulnerability, nothing you longed for in private, nothing you wept over in the stillness of night has been forgotten. You assumed that silence meant your prayers had stalled. But silence was simply the soil where divine answers were taking root. You believed that because you prayed quietly, their response would be small or delayed. But you now, nothing you asked for in sincerity stayed small. Your silent prayers became blueprints for the very blessings unfolding before you. There were times when you felt so overwhelmed that you could only close your eyes and hope I understood what you could not say. I understood it all. I watched as your heart spoke louder than your lips, as your soul trembled with desires too sacred to put into words. I heard your longing for peace when your thoughts were storming. I heard your desire for healing when your tears were the only expression. I heard your yearning for clarity when confusion clouded your mind. I heard your request for strength when you felt weak enough to break. Your silence was not empty, it was full of meaning, and now the unseen is becoming seen, the hidden is becoming visible, the prayers buried deep within the chambers of your soul are rising like a tide that can no longer be held back. You will see the manifestation in ways that are urgently and in ways that are undeniable. A door will open, and you will remember the night you asked for direction. A relationship will shift, and you will remember the moment you begged for peace. An opportunity will appear, and you will remember when you asked me if there was still hope. A healing will come, and you will recognize it as the answer to the pain you could never articulate. My child, this is not coincidence, it is fulfillment. This is not chance, it is precision. Your silent pleas were never lost, they were preserved. And now, in the season of divine unveiling, they come to pass. Listen closely, because this moment marks a turning point in the pace of your life. There isn't things are unfolding quickly now. It is not because circumstances suddenly aligned. It is because you have finally become aligned. You spent years moving through seasons that felt slow, heavy, stagnant, and endlessly repetitive, and you assumed something was wrong. But in truth, you were growing into the very version of yourself who could carry what is now arriving. You prayed for acceleration long before your spirit was ready. Now I am accelerating because your spirit has caught up. Understand something profound. In ever rush what will collapse under pressure. In ever accelerate what is fragile. In ever speed forward what cannot yet endure. The Boo Eight of Destiny be you. You have been growing, stretching, healing, learning, releasing, surrendering. You have been shedding versions of yourself that were too small for the future I prepared. You have been strengthened through hardship, clarified through pain, refined through waiting, and now you are ready. Not perfect, but ready to receive, ready to step, ready to hold on to what once would have slipped through your hands. This readiness is why doors will open faster. Opportunities will appear sooner. Relationships will align naturally. Favor will flow with less resistance. Answers will come with startling clarity. You will feel momentum where there once was delay. You will feel guidance where there once was confusion. You will feel confirmation where there once was doubt. You are not imagining this shift. Your spirit recognized the divine speed at which things are moving. Do not fear this acceleration. It will not overwhelm you. It will carry you. It is not the sign of chaos. It is the sign of fulfillment. You are not being rushed. You are being ushered. I am unfolding things quickly because I have prepared you deeply. You can handle what is coming. You can walk in what I am releasing. You can step into what has been waiting for you. The pace has changed because you have changed, and now heaven moves in sync with the maturity of your spirit. Hear me with the strength of someone being called forward into the full self who they truly are. Do not shrink back now. No, they're not at the edge of everything your heart has longed for. Note in the moment where destiny is opening before you like a path illuminated for your feet alone. I know hesitation whispers to you. I know fear tries to nudge you backward. I know the familiar past tries to feel safer than the unknown future. But this moment, this sacred, divinely appointed moment, requires your boldness, not your fear. You did not come this far to retreat. You did not survive the battles just to stand still. You did not grow through pain and endurance just to shrink when the fulfillment appears. You are stronger now. You are wiser now. You are more grounded now. The insecurities that once controlled you have lost their grip. The doubts that once paralyzed you have faded in the light of revelation. The lies that once haunted you have been silenced. The old version of you, the timid, uncertain, wounded version, is no longer in charge. Boldness is not loudness. Boldness is clarity. Boldness is knowing who walks with you. Boldness is recognizing that fear is only a shadow, not a barrier. Boldness is stepping forward because you trust my voice more than you trust your comfort. And I am calling you forward. I am calling you higher. I am calling you deeper. I am calling you into everything that has been prepared, preserved, and protected for you. There will be moments when your mind tries to negotiate, when your heart hesitates, when your flesh wants reassurance. But this season is not built on hesitation. It is built on holy courage. If you want someone to pray with you personally for this step, book a free 15-minute prayer call via the link in the description. Let us pray and declare this season together. Courage to take the step. Courage to say yes. Courage to drop what no longer fits. Courage to embrace what once felt too big for you. Courage to believe that my plans for you are truly as good as I have promised. Do not shrink back now. Step with boldness. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Step with intention. Step with the confidence of someone who knows they are not stepping alone. This moment belongs to you because I have assigned it to you, and your boldness will unlock what fear tries to delay. Feel the shift happening within you right now, because what you're sensing is not imagination, it is liberation. I am lifting the weight of old seasons off your shoulders so you can finally walk freely into what I have prepared for you. You have carried burdens far longer than you realize. You carried responsibilities that were never yours, expectations that drained your spirit, memories that haunted you, and disappointments that settled in your chest like stones. You carried guilt from past mistakes, shame from old chapters, and fears rooted in seasons that have already ended. For too long you have walked with a heaviness that convinced you it was normal. But I tell you now, it was never meant to stay. I watched how the weight of yesterday tried to define your today. I watched how old wounds tried to speak into new days. I watched how past failures whispered lies about your future. And in my murk, why am a tenderness, in my deep and abiding love for you, I am removing that heaviness piece by piece. You will feel it in subtle moments. First a thought replaced with clarity, a memory losing its sting, a fear fading before it even forms. And then, like a sudden exhale after years of holding your breath, you will realize the weight is gone. I am removing emotional weight. The heaviness of regret will no longer suffocate your confidence. The achy of betrayal will no longer dictate your trust. The residue of past disappointment will no longer cloud your expectate. I am removing mental weight. The overthinking that kept you paralyzed is dissolving in the light of my peace. The lies that repeated in loops are being silenced. The confusion that once felt endless is breaking apart. I am removing spiritual weight. The generational patterns that followed you end here. The battles that felt cyclical are being severed. The spiritual fatigue you carried is being replaced with renewal. You are not stepping into the next season dragging the chains of the last. You are stepping in lighter, freer, more awake, and more aligned. The heaviness that once kept you crawling will no longer touch you. The weight that once made you doubt your worth loses its authority in my presence. You are being unburdened fully, deeply, deliberately, so that nothing from the past can interfere with what I am opening to you now. Walk forward, child. The weight is lifting, the path is clearing, and you are stepping freely into a new nest created just for you. Look closely at what is happening within you, because you are witnessing a divine reversal. Once a powerful that event, the chains that clung to you for years cannot withstand the light I am shining into your life. What once held you back no longer has authority over you. The very things that once trapped you, hindered you, delayed you, or shamed you are losing their grip in my presence. This is not a small shift. This is a dismantling of every spiritual, emotional, and mental chain that tried to remain attached. Oh, you there were chains of fear that whispered, "You can't." Chains of doubt that told you you're not enough. Chains of insecurity that convinced you you don't deserve more. Chains of past failure that murmured you will repeat the same mistakes. Chains of shame that said you will always carry this. Chains of old identity that insisted this is just who you are. But now, my light is exposing those chains for what they truly are. Lies that have lost their power. When my light exposes, it does not expose to shame, it exposes to liberate. When my light reveals, it reveals to free. When my light shines, it shines to destroy the darkness that once convinced you it was permanent. I am exposing every lie that limited you. I am exposing every belief that kept you small. I am exposing every attachment that drained your worth. I am exposing every deception that twisted your view of yourself. I am exposing every fear disguised as wisdom, every insecurity disguised as humility, every coping mechanism disguised as survival. You are not the same person you were when those chains first attached themselves to you. You have outgrown them. You have spiritually risen beyond them. You have matured past their reach. And now, because my light has revealed their presence and weakened their grip, they cannot hold on to you any longer. They slip off not because you fought harder this time, but because my presence is stronger in you than ever before. Walk forward knowing this truth. The chains that once defined your being broken for good. Nothing from you are past this authority to speak into your future unless you give it permission, and you are not giving permission anymore. My light burns away everything that tried to remain hidden, and in their revealing you are free. Prepare your heart for what comes next, because the doors opening before you are not ordinary doors. They are divinely crafted, divined, and divinely protected. These are doors no human hand can manipulate, no enemy can block, no circumstance can seal, and no insecurity can sabotage. These are doors in myself am opening for you. And what I up and noon can't shut. You have knocked on many doors in your life, some open briefly, some open partially, some slammed shut without explanation. You wondered whether you were worthy, whether you were capable, whether you were enough. But now idly you something you must hold tightly in your spirit. The doors opening in this season are not dependent on your resume, your reputation, your qualifications, or your perfection. They are dependent on my will. These doors align you with destiny, not convenience. They lead to purpose, not temporary satisfaction. They advance you spiritually, emotionally, professionally, relationally, in ways you could not have orchestrated even with your greatest effort. You will know these doors are mine because they will come with ease where you once felt resistance, with clarity where you once felt confusion, with peace where you once felt pressure, and no critic, no doubter, no rival, no enemy will be able to close what I open. They cannot block, delay, or dismantle what I release. You will see favor that bypasses protocol. You will see opportunities that defy logic. You will see alignment that makes sense only in hindsight. You will see pathways appear where walls once stood. Walk with confidence, not arrogance. The confidence of someone who knows they are walking through a door opened by the hand of God, not the hand of man. The confidence of someone who knows they are stepping into prepared specifically for them. These doors are not random. They are divine. They are not temporary. They are foundational. And you are ready to walk through them, because this is the season where heaven opens what earth cannot. Listen to me, child, because what I am placing before you next carries a weight of peace that will silence every voice of confusion you once battled. The opportunities approaching your life will not overwhelm you, will not perplex you, and will not leave you guessing whether they are from me. For in this season, I am giving you a level of clarity that aligns your spirit with my direction so complete. Illith, you will feel the certainty of my guidance even before you see the full path. You once moved through life feeling unsure. Unsure if you were choosing correctly. Unsure if you were hearing me clearly. Unsure if you were stepping into my will or simply reacting to circumstances. But that confusion is ending. I'm lifting the fog that clouded your discernment. I am quieting the noise that once droned out my whisper. I am sharpening your sensitivity to my voices so that when the right opportunities appear, your spirit will recognize them instantly. You will not have to force anything. You will not have to chase anything. You will not have to begin anything to work. The opportunities I am bringing will carry the unmistakable signature of my presence. They will align with your peace, your purpose, and your growth. They will not come with chaos, pressure, or manipulation. They will not stir anxiety or heaviness. They will fit with the ease of something designed specifically for your hands to hold. You will walk into rooms where the atmosphere itself confirms this is where you belong. You will speak with confidence you once lacked, because the clarity I am giving you will dissolve all second guessing. And hear me. Confusion was never your portion. Discernmentus, doubt was never your inheritance. Wisdomus, hesitation was never your identity. Clarity is, I am aligning your thoughts with my thoughts, your desires with my plans, your steps with my strategy. Even when you face multiple good options, I will give you knowing a deep anchored certainty that guides you unfailingly. You will feel the difference between what is merely good and what is divinely appointed. You will feel the difference between what is attractive and what is anointed. So do not fear missing my will. Do not fear choosing do not fear being tricked by the enemy or misled by emotion. I am walking with you into every opportunity. I am speaking into your decisions. I am lighting your path with such clarity that even the smallest choices will feel guided. You will move confidently because I am making the way unmistakable. Pay attention to what is rising within you now, because the inner shifts you feel are not random. They are the awakening of a direction that once intimidated you. A calling you once felt unqualified to embrace. For so long you believed the lie that your past disqualified you, that your mistakes discredited you, that your insecurities diminished your potential. But I tell you now with the authority of the one who formed your purpose before your fears ever existed. Your spirit is awakening to the very direction I intended for you from the beginning. You are feeling a pull at a holy restlessness. Not because you are lost, but because destiny is calling you by name. There were times when you sensed this direction faintly, like a whisper you couldn't quite hear. You felt glimpses of it, moments of clarity, brief bursts of understanding, but then doubt crept in, insecurity rose, and comparison clouded your confidence. And so you stepped back, choosing safety over calling, familiarity over faith. But this season is different. Your spirit is maturing. Your heart is strengthening. Your identity is solidifying. You are waking up to the truth that you were never unqualified. You were simply unprepared. Now you are prepared. Now your spirit is strong enough to carry what once felt too heavy. Do you feel it? That stirring is the alignment of your inner self with my plans. The ideas you once dismissed now make sense. The dreams you thought were too big now feel attainable. The direction you once feared now feels like home. You are recognizing my voice more clearly, not because it grew louder, but because your distractions grew quieter. You are hearing the call more strongly, not because I changed my plans, but because you are finally ready to walk in them. This awakening is sacred. It is intentional. It is evidence that you are stepping into the fullness of who you truly are. You once tipped to ed toward with uncertainty, you will now walk boldly. The purpose you once questioned, you will now embrace. You will step into territories you once avoided. You will speak with confidence you once lacked. You will carry authority you once thought belonged only to others. Your spirit is awakening because it is time to rise, time to trust it, time to believe that you were created for more than survival. Time to step into the direction that has been calling out to you for years. You are not unqualified. You are chosen, prepare. And awakened, let this truth shatter every lie, every insecurity, and every limitation that has ever held you back. You are not stepping into your destiny because you earned it. You are stepping into it because I have qualified you, strengthened you, and am now sending you. Everything you believe disqualifies you. Your past, your weakness, your hesitations, your failures. I have already covered, redeemed, and rewritten. You do not qualify yourself. I qualify you. You do not empower yourself as strengthen you. You do not commission yourself as end you. You spent years believing you needed to be better, stronger, more polished, more perfect to walk in what I called you to. But child purpose was never built on your perfection. It was built in my power. I chose you knowing every flaw you would have, every fear you would wrestle with, every season where you would feel unworthy. It chose you knowing your humanity, note in spite of it. And because I chose you, no voice on earth, nor any voice in your own mind, has the authority to disqualify what I have ordained. Understand this deeply. I am the one who qualifies you. I am the one who strengthens you when your confidence wavers. I am the one who supplies wisdom when you feel unprepared. I am the one who gives courage when fear rises. I am the one who puts words in your mouth when you don't know what to say. I am the one who opens the door and equips you to walk through it. I am the one who places you where you need to be at the exact moment you need to be there, and I am the one sending you now. Not timidly, not hesitantly, but intentionally. I am sending you into purpose with authority. I am sending you into new opportunities with confidence. I am sending you into relationships that align with your calling. I am sending you into environments prepared for your growth. I am sending you into assignments designed for your anointing. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. You do not step into destiny because you feel ready. You step into destiny because I have declared you're ready. And when I send you, nothing, absolutely nothing can stand in your way. You are qualified because I call you mine. You are strong because I pour strength into you daily. You are sent because my purpose rests upon your life. And nothing will stop what I have begun in you. Let these words strike you with the force of revelation, because they are meant to awaken something courageous and unstoppable inside you. This moment you are stepping into is not accidental, not coincidental, not the result of random chance. It is ordained. It was written into your life long before you knew how to dream, before you knew how to hope, before you even understood the weight of destiny. You have reached a point in your journey where hesitation no longer belongs, because nothing about this season is uncertain in my sight. You are not wondering. You are not guessing. You are not stumbling aimlessly toward a vague future. You are stepping into a moment that has been waiting for you with divine intention, divine timing, and divine orchestration. There were seasons where you questioned everything. Your purpose, your direction, your worthiness, your capacity. You wondered whether you were behind, whether you missed something important, whether your decisions disqualified you. You carried doubts like stones in your chest, thinking they somehow reflected my thoughts about you. They never did. The truth is this: every step, even the ones you second-guessed, led you here. Every closed door redirected you here. Every delay shaped you for here. Every heartbreak refined your heart for here. And now, as this moment unfolds before your spirit, I need you to understand that nothing about your arrival is accidental. This moment is ordained for you to rise. Not midly, not cautiously, not half-ready, but boldly. Boldness does not mean noise or bravado. Boldness means certainty. Certainty that you belong in the spaces I am leading you into, certainty that you are equipped for what is coming, certainty that you are stepping into purpose, not pretending your way into it. And this certainty comes not from what you feel, but from what I have prepared. You're stepping into a chapter that was always meant to find you. You are stepping into opportunities that were not meant for anyone else. You are stepping into alignments that have been crafted with such precision that even your past missteps have become stepping stones. So step boldly, not because you know the details, but because you trust the one guiding your steps. Step boldly because fear cannot lead you where destiny requires you to go. Step boldly because the ordination on your life calls for courage, not caution. Step boldly, for this moment is wholly intentional and beautifully timed, and it is yours. Lean in, because what I am about to reveal will shift the way you see relationships, connections, and every interaction that is about to unfold in your path. The people you will meet in this next chapter are not random faces passing through your life. They are part of my divine alignment, strategically placed, intentionally assigned, and necessary for the destiny I'm guiding you toward. For too long, you have walked through seasons with people who could not see you, value you, or understand the depth of who you were becoming. For too long, you tolerated relationship, spilt inconvenience rather than calling, comfort rather than purpose. But now, as you step into this season of fulfillment, I am aligning you with people who match your growth, honor your spirit, and recognize your calling. Some will enter your life like fresh breath, bringing clarity, encouragement, and support in ways you didn't know you needed. Others will challenge you, not to break you, but to sharpen you, stretch you, and elevate you to levels you could not reach alone. These connections are divine catalysts. They will activate dormant gifts within you. They will speak life into dreams you buried. They will pull you into opportunities you didn't know existed. They will love you in ways that heal old wounds and restore parts of you long overlooked. And hearth is a truth. The people coming are not replacing the ones who walked away. They are filling gaps that those people were never meant to fill. Do not mourn the absence of those who could not remain. Their chapter ended so these divine alignments could begin. Some connections will feel instantly familiar, as if your spirits recognize each other. Others will grow steadily, revealing purpose piece by piece, but all of them, every single one, will serve a place in your unfolding destiny. You do not have to force these connections. You don't have to chase them. You do not have to prove yourself worthy of them. What I allow is a stain. What I bring into your life, I bless with purpose. Relationships in this season will not drain you. They will strengthen you. They will not confuse you. They will clarify you. They will not diminish you. They will expand you. You are stepping into divine alignment, and the people connected to your next chapter will be part of the greatest unfolding your life has ever seen. Feel the healing in this truth as it sinks into the deepest places where abandonment, confusion, and heartbreak once lived. Those who wolfed you, whether by choice, by circumstance, or by distance, were removed on purpose. Not out of cruelty, not out of punishment, not because you were unworthy of them, but because they could not and were never destined to walk into the chapter you are stepping into now. Their roles in your story were seasonal, nocturnal. Their connection to you was meant to shape you, not complete you. Their presence was intended to teach you, refine you, or awaken something in you, but not accompany you into destiny. You wondered why certain relationships ended abruptly. You questioned why people drifted away without explanation. You felt abandoned by those you thought would stay forever. You mourned the ones who left, thinking their absence was a loss. But I tell you this gently yet firmly. Their departure was protection. Their leaving was alignment. Their exit created space. Space for healthier connections, wiser counsel, deeper love, and greater purpose. Some people could not go where you were going because their vision could not grow with yours. Others could not stay because their character would have conflicted with the maturity I am building in you. Some would have held you back with their negativity, their small thinking, their unresolved wounds. Others would have drained your energy or stifled your calling. And still others were simply not designed to accompany you beyond the chapter they helped shape. That does not make them bad. That does not make you unlovable. It simply makes this season complete. I removed them not to isolate you but to elevate you, not to wound you but to heal you, not to punish you but to protect what I am placing in your hands. You cannot carry old connections into a new destiny, not when their presence distort the blessing or disrupt the flow of what I am releasing. Trust my pruning, trust my timing, trust that I see the fullness of your journey while you see only the moment. Pause and say it out loud. Take a deep breath and say, I trust the timing. Say it now, and know this: what you lost is nothing compared to what is coming. The relationships ahead of you honor your purpose. The people aligned with your next chapter will not leave when things get hard. They will not fear your growth. They will not compete with your calling. They will walk with you because they are meant to walk with you. Those who wolfed could not, and that is not your burden to carry. It is my providence protecting your destiny. Let this truth pierce through every lingering sorrow you carry from your past, because it is time for your heart to shift into a new posture. Do not mourn what is behind you anymore. What is unfolding before you is far greater, far deeper, and far more fitting for who you have become. You spent years grieving what you lost. Relationships that ended, seasons that collapsed, dreams that seemed to crumble, opportunities that slipped through your fingers. You mourned the what could have been, not knowing that letting go of the past was never meant to diminish you, but to liberate you. Quick action. Write down one thing you're ready to release from the past. Tear up the paper or burn it symbolically to mark the letting go. The things you wept over were not stolen from you. They were released from you. They left because they could no longer accompany you into the person you are now destined to become. As all the tears you shed for chapters that closed unexpectedly, is all who you tried to make sense of endings that came without warning, is all the grief you carried for seasons you thought would last forever. And I tell you this with tenderness, you were grieving not because those things were your future, but because they were your familiar. The familiar is often mistaken for the essential, but it is not the same. The essential remains, the temporary fades, and everything that faded from your life so because it could not fit the expansion happening within you. Do not mourn the past when your spirit is stepping into a future crafted with more wisdom, more intention, more depth, and more divine orchestration than anything you lost. The ending of the old was the clearing of the path. The closing of those doors was the construction of new ones. The people who left created space for those who will honor you in ways your heart has long needed. The opportunities that fell through were stepping stones, redirecting you to better ones. Lift your eyes. What is unfolding before you is not a remnant. It is a promise. It is not a consolation prize. It is destiny. It is not an afterthought. It is the fulfillment of everything I have been preparing you for. So release the mourning. Release the replaying of old conversations in your mind. Release the if only and the why didn't it work. Release the sadness tied to seasons that were never meant to be permanent. It is time for you to celebrate, not with anxiety, not with hesitation, but with gratitude. For I am placing before you things your past could not have held. Celebrate what is unfolding, for your story is entering its most powerful chapter yet. Speak your truth. Say, I celebrate what is coming, and if you're listening with someone, tell them one thing you're grateful for today. Feel this with the deepest part of your spirit, because what I am revealing now ties together every lesson, every delay, every hardship, and every breakthrough you've walked through. This moment, this very point in your journey, is the moment I have been preparing your heart to receive all along. You thought I was delaying you. You thought I was withholding. You thought I was silent, but in truth, I was shaping you, softening you, strengthening you, stretching you, and maturing you into someone who could hold what I am now placing into your life without fear, without sabotage, and without shrinking. There were seasons when you longed for answers but were not ready for the weight of them. Seasons when you wanted blessings but couldn't yet manage the responsibility they carried. Seasons when you prayed for elevation but lacked the foundation required to stand in it. So I worked inside you quietly, deeply, consistently, preparing your heart in ways you could not see. I healed wounds you did not realize were affecting your decisions. I dismantled lies you didn't know were shaping your identity. I unraveled patterns that would have disrupted your future. I purified desires that were rooted in old pain. I expanded your visions, or you could recognize my hand when it moved. And now, because your heart has been prepared, you will perceive. Hate you once overlooked. You will receive what you once resisted. You will embrace what you once questioned. You will carry what you once dropped. Your heart is no longer confined by fear, crippled by past pain, or clouded by uncertainty. I have been refining you not to punish you, but to align you with the magnitude of what I am about to release. This moment is not simply a new chapter. It is the fulfillment of a process. You are stepping into a season not with the heart you once had, but with the heart you grew into. The heart that trusts deeply. The heart that discerns wisely. The heart that stands securely. The heart that no longer crumbles at adversity. This is the heart I have been preparing, and now this is the moment that heart was made for. Open your spirit wide, because the restoration coming is not partial, not limited, not confined to what you once had. It is abundant, overflowing, and accompanied by blessings you never dared to imagine. You have mourned losses, grieved missed seasons, and carried the ache of things that slipped away. But I tell you now, restoration is coming. Not the kind that merely returns you to a former state, but the kind that elevates you beyond anything you once believed possible. I am restoring what the enemy tried to steal, what circumstances fractured, what time seemed to erode, and what pain convinced you would never return. But I am also doing more, far more. I am giving you blessings, opportunities, relationships, insights, and levels of influence you never imagined you were capable of carrying. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. You asked for restoration in the areas where you felt broken, empty, or wronged. But I look at your life with a larger vision. I am not restoring you to your past. I am restoring you to your purpose. I am not returning what was lost in the same form. I am transforming it into something greater. You will not simply regain what was taken. You will rise with more wisdom, more authority, more clarity, and more spiritual maturity than you had before the loss occurred. What once hurt you will now empower you. What once limited you will now propel you. What once weakened you will now strengthen you. And in addition to restoration, I am giving you things you never thought you could hold. Dreams that once felt too big, responsibilities that once felt too heavy, blessings that once felt too distant. I am placing in your hands what you once disqualified yourself from. I am expanding your capacity. I am increasing your influence. I am enlarging your territory, internally and externally. You are stepping into a season where you will be entrusted with more, not because you earned it, but because you grew into someone who can sustain it. Restoration is coming. Expansion is coming. Gifts beyond your imagination are coming, and you will carry them not with fear, not with trembling, but with confidence, with strength, and with gratitude. For I am giving you not only what was lost, but also what you never knew was meant for you. Listen to me with the fullness of your spirit, because what I am stirring within you now reaches into places you buried long ago. The promises you believed were forgotten by time, by circumstance, by disappointment, or even by me, are awakening again. They are not returning in their old form. They are rising stronger, clearer, and nearer than ever before. You once held these promises tightly, full of expectation and hope. But life happened. Delays stretched you, losses shook you, wounds made you question. And slowly, quietly, almost without noticing, you let those promises settle into the background of your heart. Left abandoned but buried, not destroyed but dormant. And now I am awakening them. Not because you forced it, not because you searched for them, not because you tried to resurrect what felt dead, but because the time is right, because your spirit is ready, because your heart has healed, because your character has been refined, because the foundation is finally strong enough to support what once felt too heavy for you to hold. You will feel it as a gentle stirring first, like a soft warmth in the places you once considered numb. Memories of old dreams will rise, not to taunt you, but to remind you who you were always meant to be. Vision will return, not the small visions you settled for, but the original ones I placed in you. Desire will come alive, not fueled by striving, but by purpose. These promises are awakening because they were never dead. They were waiting for the version of you who could receive them without fear, without rushing, without doubting whether you were worthy. The dreams you thought you outgrew, you will realize were simply maturing. The hopes you thought were unrealistic will now become aligned, supported, and divinely resourced. The prayers you stopped praying because they hurt too much to repeat, I never stopped listening to them. I preserved them. I protected them. I nurtured them in silence while you healed, grew, and became someone capable of walking in their fullness. So do not be surprised when old desires return with new strength. Do not question when forgotten visions reignite with clarity. Do not resist when long-buried passion awakens with urgency. What is awakening now is not a repeat of the past. It is the fulfillment of what the past prepared you for. These promises are nearer than they have ever been, and this time you are ready to walk in them. Let this truth break the cycle of striving that has exhausted your soul for years. The days of you chasing breakthrough are ending. Now breakthrough will chase you. Claim it. Say, breakthrough, come to me, and believe it. If you're listening with others, invite them to claim it with you now. There was a time when you ran after opportunities, trying to prove yourself worthy of blessing. You knocked on doors that stayed closed. You tried to create momentum where none existed. You pushed yourself beyond your limits, believing breakthrough depended on your effort, your timing, your ability to hold everything together. But what you didn't see then was this. Breakthrough was never meant to be hunted. It was meant to be attracted by alignment. When your heart aligns with my will, when your spirit aligns with my timing, when your character aligns with your calling, breakthrough doesn't hide from you. It finds you. Breakthrough recognizes where it belongs. Breakthrough gravitates toward the soul prepared to carry it, and that is you. Now you are stepping into a season where the very things you once begged for will come looking for you. Opportunities will find you. Open doors will present themselves without your forcing them. Favor will show up unexpectedly. Breakthrough will chase you because you are no longer fueled by desperation. You are fueled by divine purpose. It will chase you because you are in the right season, the right posture, the right identity. What you once pursued anxiously will now pursue you peacefully. What you once feared missing will now seek you out. What you once felt behind on will now catch up to you swiftly. This is not fantasy. It is divine acceleration. Breakthrough follows those who no longer idolize it but trust me. And now that your trust is deeper and your foundation is stronger, breakthrough knows exactly where to find you. Let this truth settle into you like a steady flame that refuses to be extinguished. Wherever my spirit leads you, provision follows, favor follows, and purpose unfolds with precision. You have spent years worrying about how to make things work, how to provide, how to sustain, how to succeed, how to survive. You carried the weight of outcomes that were never meant to rest on your shoulders. But now, as you step into deeper alignment with my leading, I am lifting that burden. For provision is not the result of your labor alone. It is the evidence of my guidance. When I lead you, I do not lead you into lack. I do not lead you into confusion. I do not lead you into dead ends. I lead you into the places where resources already exist, where favor is already prepared, where the next step is already aligned. I go before you not just spiritually, but practically. I prepare connections, conversations, opportunities, and pathways long before you reach them. The provision you worry about is already waiting. The favor you hope for is already stored up. The purpose you long for is already unfolding. You will notice the shift soon, not because life becomes perfect, but because you will walk with the confidence that you are not responsible for manufacturing outcomes, only for following my leading. The pressure lifts, the striving ends, the anxiety quiets, and in its place rises trust. Trust that where I guide, I also provide. Provision follows my spirit like a shadow follows light. Favor follows my spirit like dawn follows night. Purpose unfolds in my spirit like blossoms unfold in spring. They cannot help but open. So stop fearing the unknown. Stop fearing lack. Stop fearing missteps. You are not wandering. You are being led. And everywhere I am leading you, what you need will meet you at the moment you need it. Provision, favor, purpose. They are not things you chase. They are things that follow you when you follow me. Feel the magnitude of this shift deep in your spirit because it marks one of the most significant transitions of your life. You are no longer in a season of survival. Your journey has shifted into assignment. For years you moved through life trying to endure what came your way, fighting battles you didn't ask for, overcoming weights you didn't choose, navigating valleys you didn't foresee. During those seasons, survival was not a weakness. It was a testimony of the strength I placed within you. But survival was never your final identity. It was the temporary posture that kept you standing until the time of assignment arrived. And that time is now. You must understand the difference. Survival is reactive. Assignment is intentional. Survival keeps you breathing. Assignment gives your breath purpose. Survival keeps you alive. Assignment makes your life fruitful. Survival teaches you endurance. Assignment activates your calling. Survival taught you how to get through storms. Assignment now teaches you how to command them. You are not the same fragile soul who once wondered if they would make it. You are someone shaped by endurance, sharpened by resilience, and strengthened by my hand, until you became a vessel ready for purpose. Not just existence. This is why your desires are changing. This is why certain things that once drained you now feel beneath you. This is why old patterns no longer tempt you, why old identities no longer fit, why old fears no longer hold authority. You are awakening to assignment, a divine mission tailored to your gifts, experiences, calling, and growth. You feel inside you an urgency you can't explain, a stirring that won't quiet down, a sense that there is more, because there is more. And now that your soul has shifted into alignment, you will begin to walk with intention rather than exhaustion. You will notice your decisions becoming sharper, your discernment becoming clearer, your spirit becoming bolder. Things that once overwhelmed you will no longer intimidate you because you are being guided by assignment, not desperation. You are stepping into days where you will wake up not to survive but to advance, not to endure but to create, not to hide but to rise. Your life is no longer defined by what happened to you. It is defined by what I am calling you into. You are not walking as a wounded survivor. You are stepping forward as someone on assignment carrying authority, purpose, and heavenly backing. The shift is permanent, powerful, and prophetic. Your journey is no longer about surviving the past. It is about fulfilling destiny. Prepare yourself for the transformation happening within you, because I am releasing into your spirit gifts that transcend human effort, wisdom beyond your years, insight beyond your experience, and peace beyond your understanding. You have been relying on your intellect for so long, analyzing, calculating, anticipating every possibility, trying to think your way through every challenge. Yet now I am shifting the source of your direction from your mind to your spirit. The wisdom I am giving you will not come from books, mentors, or experience alone. It will come from revelation. It will come from me. You will sense things before they happen. You will understand things others overlook. You will discern motives, opportunities, and pathways with clarity you once believed was inaccessible to you. This is not a reward, it is an equipping. Your assignment requires wisdom, not just the kind gained through age or experience, but the kind that is breathed into your spirit. The decisions ahead of you are larger. The influence expanding in your life is weightier, and the paths I am opening require insight beyond what your past can provide. So I am giving you heavenly perspective, vision that sees beyond the surface, understanding that cuts through confusion, and discernment that will guard your steps. But wisdom alone is not enough. So I am also giving you insight, deep intuitive knowing that will feel like truth settling gently in your chest. Insight that reveals the motives of others. Insight that identifies opportunities disguised as obstacles. Insight that warns you of traps before you step into them. Insight that guides you into conversations, connections, and environments specifically designed to elevate you. Where others see coincidence, you will see orchestration. Where others see chaos, you will see alignment. Where others see confusion, you will see purpose. And over all of this, I am pouring peace. Peace that does not depend on circumstances. Peace that stabilizes your emotions. Peace that quiets your mind. Not the fragile peace that disappears under pressure, but the supernatural peace that passes understanding. This peace will become your anchor in seasons of movement and acceleration. It will guard your heart when you walk through new territory. It will protect your mind when old fears try to whisper again. This peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of my certainty within you. Wisdom, insight, and peace. These three will guide you into the fullness of the destiny unfolding now. They are not optional, they are essential, and I am giving them to you freely, abundantly, and continuously, because the road ahead requires a depth of clarity that only I can provide. Walk in this new outpouring, child. It is yours. Pause and absorb this truth, because it will become one of the defining revelations of your journey. There will come a day sooner than you think when you will look back on this very moment and say, everything changed when God revealed the timing. You have lived through seasons where you pushed, waited, prayed, and wondered why things were not moving. You questioned whether you were doing something wrong, whether you misunderstood my voice, whether the delays were a sign of disqualification. But now you will see what you could not see then. The issue was never your desire, your effort, or your faith. The issue was timing. My timing, perfect timing, the only timing that could bring the fullness of what I'm releasing into your life. You will realize that every delay protected you, not punished you. Every closed door preserved you. Every slow season strengthened what needed to grow. Every unanswered prayer was not a denial, but a divine pause, holding the blessing until the weight of it would not crush you. Timing is not just about when you receive something, it is about who you become while you wait. And now, because you have become someone capable of stewarding what is coming, my timing has shifted. It is revealing itself, not gradually, not subtly, but unmistakably. You will see how quickly things begin to align, how suddenly opportunities open, how conversations unfold with purpose, how divine connections emerge out of nowhere, how answers you waited years for come in moments, how peace settles where anxiety once lived. Timing. My timing will turn what was once a long, exhausting season into a testimony of precision. You will look back and understand that if I had moved sooner, things would have broken. If I had moved later, opportunities would have passed. But I am moving now because this is the moment when everything aligns. Your heart, your maturity, your spirit, your purpose, and my plan. This moment will become a marker, a spiritual landmark, a point in your story you will always return to with awe. You will say, everything changed when God revealed the timing, because everything is changing now. Not by chance, not by force, but by alignment with my perfect, unstoppable timing unfolding in your life. Let these words settle over you like warm light breaking through a long and heavy sky, because they carry a certainty your heart has desperately needed. My timing, yes, my timing is now unfolding in your life, and it is not early, not late, but perfect. You have wrestled with the idea of timing more than you admit. You have wondered why things happened when they did, or why they didn't happen when you begged for movement. You questioned me in moments of heaviness, feeling as though I was taking too long or holding you back from what you were ready for. But hear me clearly, nothing in your journey has ever been late. Nothing has ever been early. Every moment has been perfectly aligned with a rhythm and wisdom far beyond what your eyes could perceive. You see time in hours, days, and years. I see time in transformation. Who you are becoming, what you can carry, what you can discern, what will bless you rather than break you. My timing is never a reaction. It is a carefully built orchestration. I have been aligning conversations, decisions, opportunities, relationships, and spiritual shifts long before you even knew what to pray for. When you thought nothing was moving, everything was moving beneath the surface. behind the scenes, inside your heart, around your life, and each piece waited for this moment to sink. There were prayers I could not answer sooner, not because you were unworthy, but because the blessing would have been too heavy for the version of you that existed in that season. There were doors I could not open earlier, not because I was withholding, but because your character was still developing into the strength required to walk through them. There were relationships I had to rearrange, not because you were unwanted, but because you needed people aligned with the purpose you now carry. And now, right now, you are stepping into my perfect timing. This is why things suddenly make sense. This is why your spirit feels expectant. This is why clarity is sharper, why peace is stronger, why opportunities are appearing with ease. You are not imagining the shift. You are recognizing my timing. And once you walk long enough with me, you begin to realize that my timing is not a delay. It is a protection. It is a preparation. It is a promise kept with precision. You will look back and see how every detour was a blessing, every delay was a shield, and every quiet season was a classroom. You will understand that what felt like waiting was actually becoming. And now that you have become who you needed to be, my timing stands before you. Not rushed, not postponed, but perfect. Let this truth give strength to your steps and fire to your spirit, because it changes the way you walk from this moment on. You can walk with confidence, not timidly, not anxiously, not questioning every move. Because I walk before you as your shield and behind you as your defender. You are surrounded by my presence in ways you have never fully grasped. When you step into new places, you are not stepping alone. When you make big decisions, you are not doing it without protection. When you move into unfamiliar territory, you are not at the mercy of uncertainty. I walk before you. I step into rooms before you arrive, preparing them for your presence. I soften hearts that need to receive you. I rearrange obstacles that would have blocked you. I create openings where there were once walls. I break apart plans of the enemy before they ever touch your life. I stand as a shield, absorbing what was never meant to wound you, redirecting what would have broken you, and clearing a path that only I can see. Yet I also walk behind you. I cover your back where your eyes cannot see. I guard you from the attacks that form in secrecy. I dismantle the whispers spoken against you. I silence the plans built in darkness. I protect you from what tries to sneak up on your spirit. Nothing can ambush you. I am already there. Nothing can overtake you. I am your defender. This is why you can walk confidently. Confidence does not come from perfection or certainty. It comes from presence. My presence, and my presence surrounds you completely. Share this truth. Send this message to one person who needs to hear they are protected. Do it now. Their future may depend on it. When you move forward with me, you walk with a boldness that doesn't rely on your strength. Boot in my sovereignty, you walk knowing you cannot be overtaken, you cannot be sabotaged, you cannot be derailed by forces that do not have the authority to touch your destiny. You will feel this shift, you will walk differently, you will speak differently, you will think differently. Fear loses its grip when you know you are shielded. Anxiety loses its voice when you know you are defended, and doubt loses its power when you realize, I am not only leading you, I am guarding you, my child. Walk confidently, walk boldly, walk assured that I surround you more completely than you realize. Let this declaration echo through the deepest chambers of your spirit, because it signals a divine protection over your life that no force can break. Nothing formed against you, nothing planned, nothing spoken, nothing imagined, nothing disguised will prosper in this season. My hand is upon you, and when my hand rests on someone, no enemy can overcome them, no scheme can undo them, and no weapon can touch the destiny I have secured. You have walked through seasons where you felt unprotected, where attacks hit your emotions, your relationships, your finances, your confidence. You felt vulnerable to people's opinions, exposed to spiritual warfare, impacted by circumstances that felt beyond your control. But this season is different. This is the season of covering. Deep, heavy, immovable covering. The battles that once reached you will no longer find you. The lies that once tormented you will no longer influence you. The doubts that once consumed you will no longer overpower you. Understand this. Weapons may form, but they will fail. Words may be spoken, but they will fall powerless. Plans may be made, but they will collapse before they reach you. The enemy may attempt to rise against you, but he will stumble and fall every time. Not because of your strength, but because of my hand. My protective, guiding, sovereign hand resting over your life. When my hand is upon you, everything shifts. Attacks lose their impact. Darkness loses its ground. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Fear loses its grip. Confusion loses its voice. You will feel this protection in ways that bring peace. Deep peace. Peace in your mind, peace in your decisions, peace in your home, peace in your spirit. This is a season where you will walk into places with confidence, knowing you are untouchable by anything that is not of me. You will sense danger before it approaches. You will receive wisdom that shields you from deception. You will feel my presence as armor around your life, and every plan the enemy strategizes will break apart, not by accident, but by my design. My child, do not fear what forms. It cannot prosper. My hand is upon you, and that hand ensures that nothing can stop what I am doing in your life. This is your season of divine protection, of supernatural covering, and of unstoppable purpose. Hear this with a reverence that reaches past your mind and into the deep chambers of your spirit, because it will transform the way you understand what I am doing in your life. The elevation you are stepping into is not about making you seen. It is about making my glory seen through you. When I raise you, when I position you, when I expand your influence, when I open doors you never dreamed of entering, it is not to inflate your ego or to place you on a pedestal. It is to reveal what my hand can do with a life that has surrendered fully to me. Your elevation is not about spotlight. It is about assignment. It is about purpose. It is about reflecting something divine in a world starving for truth. You have feared elevation at times. You questioned whether you were ready, whether you were capable, whether you could handle being seen. You worried that attention might expose your flaws or burden you with expectations. But this elevation is not built on your performance. It is built on my presence. Where I elevate, I equip. Where I position, I protect. Where I send, I sustain. And where my glory flows, human pressure cannot crush. Do not shrink back from this rising. For years, you asked me to use you. Now I am placing you where your voice, your story, your gifts, and your transformation will speak louder than you realize. Your elevation will be a testimony, not of how strong you are, but of how faithful I am. Not of how talented you are, but of how surrendered you are. Not of how impressive you are, but of how present I am in your life. People will see your growth and wonder, how did they get here? They will see your influence and think, surely there is something different about them. And they will be right. The difference is me. I will elevate you in ways that reveal compassion where others expect pride. I will elevate you into rooms where humility becomes your authority. I will elevate you into positions where peace becomes your strategy. You will carry my presence into places that desperately need it, not through preaching, but through the undeniable evidence of a life lifted and transformed by my hand. So do not resist this rising. Do not hide. Do not fear visibility. You are not being elevated for show. You are being elevated for purpose. And through you, my glory will be unmistakably seen. Lean into this with every part of you that has ever doubted whether you were ready. Because I am speaking directly to that uncertainty where you once felt unprepared, hesitant, or insecure. You will now step forward with divine assurance, not self-assurance, not human confidence, but an assurance that comes from knowing I have prepared you, equipped you, taught you, and strengthened you in ways you did not even realize. The places that used to intimidate you will now feel natural. Tasks that once overwhelmed you will now feel manageable. The conversations you used to fear will now flow with grace. You once believed preparedness meant all the answers. It does not. Preparedness means having my presence within you and my wisdom guiding you. And you have that. You once believed readiness meant eliminating every fear. It does not. Readiness means moving even when fear whispers because you trust the one who sends you. And you trust memory deeply now. You once thought you needed more time, more knowledge, more resources, more validation. But what you truly needed was alignment. And you have stepped into alignment. All the seasons where you felt behind were seasons of hidden preparation. Every delay sharpened you, every setback matured you, every challenge developed you, every unanswered question deepened your reliance on me. You do not step into this next chapter as someone guessing. You step in as someone guided, someone backed, someone carried, someone anointed. That is why assurance will flow from you in ways you have never experienced. You will recognize your own growth. You will feel the strength of decisions that used to feel heavy. You will stand in confidence where insecurity once lived. You will speak with clarity where confusion once tangled your thoughts. You will step into new territory without the trembling that once consumed you. Because this time you are not stepping alone. You are stepping with me. And that alone is your assurance. Hear this as a gentle yet powerful unveiling of what has been happening within you for years. I am birthing purpose in you. Purpose that had been maturing quietly, steadily, patiently through every chapter of your journey. You may have thought certain seasons were wasted. They were not. You may have believed certain experiences were random. They were not. You may have assumed certain hardships were meaningless. They were not. Every moment, every crossroads, every joy, every heartbreak has been shaping something sacred within you, something that is now ready to emerge. Purpose does not explode into existence. It grows. It forms in hidden places. It matures beneath the surface where no one sees. It develops in silence, in waiting, in struggle, in perseverance. And that is what has been happening within you. I have been maturing your gifts. I have been refining your voice. I have been strengthening your spirit. I have been preparing you to carry purpose not as a burden, but as a calling infused with my grace. You will feel this birth not as pressure, but as clarity. Not as heaviness, but as awakening. Ideas will come alive with energy. Passions long dormant will reignite. Vision will sharpen. Creativity will surge. You will feel drawn to things that speak to your calling and repelled by things that distract you. This is not random. This is purpose pushing through. This is destiny taking shape. This is who you were designed to be, rising to the surface. And understand this, birth is not the beginning of creation. It is the unveiling of what was forming all along. Nothing in your story has been wasted, because everything has been contributing to this moment of emergence. Purpose is ready. You are ready. And what is being birthed through you will impact more than you realize. For it carries the imprint of every step you have taken and every lesson you have learned under my guidance. Feel this truth like a holy fire rising gently but unmistakably within your spirit. The expansion you are feeling inside you, the stretching, the shifting, the internal widening of your desires, perspectives, and capacities is not something to fear or resist. It is the clearest evidence that you are now entering a greater dimension of purpose. This expansion is not random. It is not emotional fluctuation. It is not instability. It is spiritual enlargement, the kind that only comes when purpose is ready to flow through you at a higher level. You have prayed for growth, for clarity, for impact, for a life that feels aligned with something bigger than yourself. That prayer is being answered in you first. Take one practical step today. Write a single next action, no matter how small, that moves you toward your calling. Then tell one person so you'll be held accountable. Expansion always begins within. Before I expand your opportunities, I expand your vision. Before I expand your influence, I expand your identity. Before I expand your territory, I expand your faith. You may feel the stretching because your old capacity is no longer enough. You may feel the discomfort because your spirit refuses to shrink back into patterns, habits, and self-perceptions that no longer match who you are becoming. You may feel the tension because you are stepping out of spiritual garments that were too small for you, but felt familiar. Do not resist this expansion. Let it happen. Let it stretch you. Let it grow you. Let it challenge you. For this expansion is not meant to break you. It is meant to prepare you for the magnitude of what you are about to carry. The desire for more that has been stirring in your heart is not greed. It is calling. The restlessness you feel is not lack. It is spiritual transition. The boldness rising in you is not arrogance. It is awakening. Where you once felt confined, you will now feel spacious. Where you once felt uncertain, you will now feel guided. Where you once felt small, you will now feel strengthened. The expansion happening within you is sacred, intentional, and divinely timed. You are outgrowing old limitations. You are shedding old fears. You are stepping into a new dimension where purpose will flow from you with ease, authority, and clarity. Let the expansion unfold. It is the doorway into the greatness I have been forming in you all along. Let this truth break every lingering attachment to who you used to be, because the identity rising in you is not a revisiting of the old. It is the unveiling of the new. You are not who you were. You are who I have been shaping you to become. For years, you measured yourself by past struggles, past habits, past mindsets, past wounds, and past seasons. You evaluated your value through the lens of who you used to be, your failures, your insecurities, your mistakes, your old patterns. But you are not that person anymore. Every season has changed you. Every battle has refined you. Every victory has strengthened you. Every hardship has matured you. The person you were could not stand in the season you're entering now. So I transformed you widely, patiently, consistently. I changed the way you think. I softened the places that were hardened. I strengthened the places that were weak. I exposed the lies you believed and replaced them with truth. I stripped away identities rooted in pain and rebuilt your confidence from the inside out. The growth you see in yourself now is not accidental. It is intentional, purposeful, and the result of my careful shaping. You have been evolving even when you didn't feel it. You have been healing even when you were still hurting. You have been rising even when life felt heavy. And now, as you step into this new chapter, you must embrace the truth that you are no longer defined by the past version of yourself. You are not bound by old labels. You are not identified by old wounds. You are not limited by old fears. You are not tethered to old mistakes. You are the transformed version of yourself, stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more discerning, more aligned with purpose than ever before. The you that is emerging is the you I intended before life tried to break your confidence, before disappointment tried to rearrange your identity, before pain tried to diminish your potential. You are becoming the person designed for the destiny now unfolding. Do not shrink into old versions of yourself out of habit or fear. Rise fully into the identity I shaped in the fire, in the waiting, and in the quiet places where nobody saw your growth. You are not who you were. You are who you were always destined to become. Let this revelation wash over you like a warm wave of clarity, because it will make sense of everything you once questioned. You are about to see clearly, unmistakably, undeniably, why every detour, every delay, and every disappointment was necessary for your destiny. None of it was wasted. None of it was random. None of it was accidental. You thought the delays were failures. You thought the detours were setbacks. You thought the disappointments were signs that your life was going backward or falling apart. But from my perspective, each of these moments was a vital piece of the map leading you to the exact place you now stand. Detours protected you from paths that were too small or too destructive for your calling. They saved you from people who would have misused your heart or diluted your purpose. They prevented you from entering seasons that would have stunted your growth. You thought you were being blocked, but you were being redirected. Delays developed you. They strengthened your character. They deepened your faith. They taught you patience, discernment, and endurance. They matured your emotions and refined your judgment. Delays are not punishment. They are preparation. They are my way of ensuring you arrive with the capacity to hold what I give you. Disappointments detached you. They removed your grip from what was never meant to stay. They severed connections that could not hold the weight of your destiny. They revealed truth behind people's masks. They freed you from cycles masquerading as comfort but functioning as captivity. Disappointments closed chapters you would have held onto too tightly so you could receive what truly aligns with your future. And now, as the pieces come together, you will see that none of it was wasted. What felt like pain was actually positioning. What felt like loss was actually protection. What felt like waiting was actually transformation. What felt like confusion was actually orchestration. You will look at the puzzle of your life and finally understand how masterfully everything was woven, how every detour, delay, and disappointment guided you to the doorstep of the destiny unfolding right now. You will not resent your past anymore. You will honor it because it was not a detour from your destiny, it was the road toward it. Listen closely, my child, because this truth will transform the emotional weight you've carried for years. You are entering a season where the very things that once made you cry, tremble, break, and question everything will now become the things you look back on with deep gratitude. Not gratitude for the pain, but gratitude for what the pain produced. Gratitude for who you became through it. Gratitude for the strength, compassion, wisdom, and clarity that were born from those moments. What you thought would ruin you ended up refining you. What felt like devastation became preparation. What you mourned in sorrow is about to be remembered with awe. This is not because you minimize what you went through. No. I saw every tear, every moment of confusion, every night you questioned your worth or your future. But I also saw what was forming beneath the surface. I saw the resilience growing where weakness tried to dominate. I saw discernment sharpening where naivety once stood. I saw purpose strengthening where fear tried to settle. In this new season, you will look back and realize that if certain doors hadn't closed, you would have missed the door I am opening now. If certain people hadn't left, you would have never met the ones who were coming. If certain opportunities hadn't fallen apart, you would have settled too low. If certain heartbreaks hadn't happened, your heart would never have healed correctly. You will see that what once broke you actually built you, and not in a way that left you hard or bitter, but in a way that left you wise and whole. I am turning your tears into understanding, your grief into growth, your heartbreak into strength, your confusion into clarity, your disappointment into direction. What once made you feel small will now remind you of how far you've come. You will no longer see those painful chapters as evidence of failure, but as stepping stones into the destiny unfolding before you. And instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" you will finally understand, this happened for me. Yes, the tears of the past are becoming the testimony of the present. This is the season where sorrow turns into strength, wounds into wisdom, and pain into purpose, and you will thank me for what once made you weep. Hear this with the authority of someone who has survived storms, climbed out of valleys, and walked through fire without knowing you were being forged into steel. The strength you have now is not borrowed, temporary, or fragile. It is rooted, real, and unbreakable. For so long you believed your strength came from circumstance, encouragement, or emotion. You believed you were strong only when you felt confident or supported. But what I have built within you goes far deeper. Your strength is not based on how you feel, it is based on who you have become. You stood in moments that would have crushed old versions of you. You endured storms that were meant to bury you. You walked through seasons you didn't think you'd survive, and yet here you are, stronger, wiser, deeper, and more spiritually grounded than you've ever been. This strength didn't come from pretending to be fine. It came from facing what was hard. It came from choosing faith when fear shouted. It came from refusing to quit when quitting seemed easier. It came from trusting me even when you couldn't trace me. You built this strength in the dark when no one applauded you. You built it in the silence when no one saw your struggle. You built it in loneliness, in healing, in prayer, in persistence. Now this strength is becoming your foundation. It is becoming your identity. It is becoming your armor. You no longer crumble at the first sign of disappointment. You no longer fall apart when things don't go as planned. You no longer carry the fragility of your old self. Instead, you stand rooted in me, in truth, in growth, in maturity. Your strength is not loud, boastful, or aggressive. It is quiet, steady, and immovable. It is the kind of strength that remains even when emotions shift. This new strength will carry you into rooms you once felt unworthy of. It will anchor you when opportunities expand. It will keep you grounded when people applaud you and keep you confident when people misunderstand you. It will protect your peace. It will guide your decisions. It will steady your heart. Because this strength is no longer circumstantial. It is spiritual. It is not given by people, so it cannot be taken by people. It is not dependent on mood, so it cannot be destroyed by moments. It is not borrowed from encouragement. It is born from transformation. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can break what I have strengthened within you. Let this truth settle into your heart like a final seal, because it carries the power to break every chain that tries to pull you backward. You will not return to who you used to be. The chapter is not paused, it is closed. That version of you is not sleeping, it is gone. The insecurities you once lived in, the cycles you once repeated, the patterns you once fell into, the wounds that once dictated your choices. Alavith has lost its authority. I have closed that chapter forever. You have outgrown what once held you. You have matured beyond what once defined you. You have healed from what once shaped you. You cannot return to places that no longer match your identity. You cannot fit into environments that were built for a smaller version of your soul. You cannot walk in old ways because your spirit has evolved. And thereas you feel disconnected from certain people, certain habits, and certain mindsets is because they belong to a chapter you've already stepped out of. Do not confuse nostalgia with calling. Do not confuse familiarity with destiny. The past may try to whisper your name, but it cannot claim you anymore. The doors that once tempted you will now feel foreign. The old emotions that once consumed you will now feel shallow. The distractions that once fascinated you will now feel meaningless. The insecurities that once crippled you will now feel powerless. This is not because the past is gone. It's because you are gone from the past. I am leading you into new identity, new purpose, new alignment, and new seasons that require a higher, wiser, stronger version of you. And that is exactly who you have become. You couldn't go back even if you tried. Your spirit wouldn't let you. Your heart wouldn't let you. Your calling wouldn't let you. I have sealed the old chapter and written you into a new one with clarity and purpose. So walk forward without looking back. The person you used to be is not needed where you are going. The new chapter requires the new you. And that new you is here, alive, awakened. Andriati Harthas is a divine awakening in your spirit because it speaks directly to the trembling places inside you that wonder if you're truly ready for what's coming. This next level of your life will require courage, but you will not need to search for it or manufacture it. I have already placed that courage within you. The courage you need is not something you will acquire later. It is something that has been quietly forming inside you through every season you survived. It has been shaped through your tears, strengthened through your perseverance, sharpened through your trials, and nurtured through your faith. You have mistaken fear for inadequacy, when in fact, your fear has only been a signal that you are standing on the edge of something greater than you've ever known. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of purpose stronger than fear, and that purpose now burns in you. You have felt this courage rising in subtle ways. When old doubts tried to return, but you did not collapse. When familiar fears whispered, yet you moved forward anyway. When your heart trembled, but your feet stepped ahead. These were signs, signals, evidence that courage has already taken root in your spirit. The reason you feel the urge to expand, to grow, to rise, to stretch, to pursue the things that once intimidated you is because the courage I placed in you is waking up, aligning itself with the destiny unfolding before you. This next level will ask you to speak where you once stayed silent, to step where you once hesitated, to trust where you once doubted, to build where you once feared failing. But you will discover moment by moment that courage is not something you summon. It is something you carry. It shows up in the moment you need it. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. It strengthens you when your knees feel weak. It whispers truth when lies get loud. It steadies your voice when insecurity tries to shake it. You are not entering this level empty-handed. You are stepping in equipped, prepared, strengthened, and fortified with courage that does not come from the world, from people, or from your circumstances. It comes from me, planted deep within you. You will feel it in your decisions, your conversations, your steps, your dreams. And when fear attempts to reappear, remember this truth: courage has already been born in you, and nothing ahead of you is greater than what I have placed within you. You are ready, more ready than you have ever realized. Let this assurance settle over your heart like a steady, calming hand, because it speaks into the areas of your life where anxiety, hesitation, and self-pressure have lived for far too long. I will teach you how to walk in this newness, not in fear, not in rush, not in doubt, but in confidence, steadiness, and trust. You have stepped into a season where everything feels different. Your desires, your clarity, your opportunities, your identity. And while this newness excites you, a part of you still wonders how to navigate it. Do not fear that uncertainty. Newness always feels unfamiliar, but unfamiliar does not mean unsafe. I will guide you step by step. You have spent years feeling like you had to figure everything out quickly. You rushed decisions. You hurried healing. You pushed yourself through seasons that required patience. You feared falling behind, fear of missing out, fear of doing it wrong. But in this new season, I am removing the frantic pace from your spirit. You will not move by panic anymore. You will move by peace. You will not act out of pressure. You will act out of wisdom. You will not run aimlessly. You will walk with intention. Do not worry about messing up. Do not fear missteps. When I guide you, even your missteps become part of the path. Do not worry about moving too slowly. Timing is my responsibility, not yours. Do not worry about discernment. I will make the right choices feel clear, and I will make the wrong ones feel heavy and unsettled. Your spirit will know. You will sense my guidance not through thunderous signs, but through quiet certainty, an inner knowing that presses gently but unmistakably. You will learn how to walk in this newness with confidence, because I will teach you to recognize my voice, my peace, my nudges. You will walk with a rhythm that is steady, grounded, and unforced. You will discover that you no longer need to rush to prove yourself or slow down out of fear. You will simply walk with me and be guided by me. And every step will reveal another layer of clarity, another piece of purpose, another confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be. I am not just giving you a new season. I am teaching you how to live in it with courage, with peace, and without fear. Feel this as a healing declaration over every part of you that has ever struggled with unworthiness, doubt, or self-diminishing thoughts. You will no longer question whether you are worthy of blessing. You will know deep in your spirit, beyond all hesitation, that you are chosen for it. For too long, you accepted less than you deserved because you believed lies about your worth. You settled because you thought you should be grateful for any good thing that came your way. You doubted your value because of past mistakes, past wounds, past rejections, and past shortcomings. But I am breaking that mindset off you now. Blessing is not about your perfection. It is about my intention. You are not blessed because you earned it. You are blessed because I chose you. You are not favored because of flawless behavior. You are favored because of my love. You are not positioned because you never failed. You are positioned because I redeemed every failure and transformed it into wisdom. You have spent years believing others were more deserving than you, more prepared, more spiritual, more qualified. Yet I tell you this with authority. I have chosen you. Not reluctantly, not accidentally, not as a backup plan, but deliberately, intentionally, joyfully. You will begin to feel this truth rising within you. Moments that once triggered insecurity will now evoke confidence. Opportunities you once felt unworthy of will now feel aligned. Blessings that once felt too big will now feel natural. You will no longer assume that good things are temporary or conditional. You will no longer brace yourself for disappointment as if blessing is unfamiliar or undeserved. You will walk with a quiet, steady assurance that you are loved, valued, and worthy, not because of your performance, but because of your identity. This shift will change everything. You will pray differently, with expectation instead of fear. You will dream differently, with hope instead of hesitation. You will receive differently, with gratitude instead of self-doubt. You will step into relationships differently, with confidence instead of insecurity. And you will walk through open doors differently, with assurance instead of shrinking back. You are worthy, not by human standards, but by divine selection. And from this moment forward, you will no longer question if you deserve blessing. You will know without wavering that you were chosen for it all along. Let this revelation strike your heart with the force of truth you've needed for years, because it will reshape the way you see everything you've lived through. Nothing, absolutely nothing about your life has been a coincidence. Not the people you met, not the people you lost, not the opportunities that came, not the ones that slipped away, not the moments that broke you, not the moments that rebuilt you. Every thread, every detail, every twist and turn has been divinely orchestrated with intention far beyond your understanding. You have often looked at your story and seen chaos, randomness, misfortune, or delay. But I have always looked at the same story and seen alignment, timing, preparation, and purpose. Your life is not a collection of lucky breaks and painful accidents. It is a masterpiece I have been weaving from the moment you were formed. Every season that felt out of control was actually under my control. Every detour that confused you was our direction with purpose. Every silence that unsettled you was a moment of hidden development. Every loss that broke your heart was a clearing for something greater. The moments you thought were failures were simply stepping stones dressed in disguise. You will see this clearly soon. How events that once made no sense will suddenly connect. How people who entered your life for a brief time left seeds you needed later. How doors that closed spared you from paths that would have harmed your spirit. How pain that felt unbearable produced strength and wisdom no easy season could have given you. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been accidental. Everything has been woven by a hand that sees the end from the beginning. You will look back and realize that even in these seasons where you felt lost, you were still being led. Even when you felt alone, you were being held. Even when you felt behind, you were right on schedule. Even when you felt broken, you were being shaped. My orchestration does not fail. My timing does not falter. My plans do not collapse. And now that you are stepping into clarity, peace, and purpose, you will finally see what I have seen all along. Your life is a divine story, and every chapter has been leading you to this moment. Hear this with the authority of someone who is being reintroduced to themselves after years of living beneath their calling. I am revealing your true identity. Not the identity shaped by fear, not the identity shaped by rejection, not the identity shaped by old wounds or old versions of you, but the identity I placed in you from the beginning. You have lived much of your life dimming your light, shrinking yourself, apologizing for your strength, hiding your gifts, and minimizing your presence to make others comfortable. But you will not live that way anymore. I am awakening the real you. This awakening may feel unfamiliar at first. It may feel bold, expansive, even unnerving, because stepping into your true identity means stepping out of every false version you created just to survive. It means releasing the fear of judgment. It means no longer contorting yourself to fit into rooms too small for your calling. It means standing tall in who you are without shrinking for those who don't understand your growth. You are not being arrogant. You are being authentic. You are not changing. You are returning to who you were always meant to be. Your true identity is strong. It is capable. It is wise. It is disciplined. It is compassionate. It is powerful. It is guided. It is destined. And it is time for you to live from that identity without hesitation. Your purpose requires confidence, not timidity. Your destiny requires fullness, not partial expression. Your calling requires courage, not apology. I am removing the masks you wore to belong. I am stripping off the insecurities you clung to for protection. I am breaking the agreements you made with limitation. I am dismantling the lies you believed about your worth, and I am revealing the version of you that reflects my intention, not your past. You will walk differently. You will think differently. You will show up differently. And you will no longer stay in spaces that require you to hide your calling or lower your brilliance. You will walk into rooms aligned with your identity, not shrink into rooms that contradict it. And you will know without question who you are and who you have always been. Let this truth electrify your spirit, because it carries the weight of destiny unfolding before your eyes. I am about to place you in rooms you once dreamed of, admired or prayed for, but never believed you were positioned or qualified to enter. These rooms are not fantasies. They are divine appointments. These moments are not coincidences. They are orchestrated alignments. These opportunities are not accidental. They are the fulfillment of preparation that has been happening inside you for years. You will find yourself sitting at tables where your voice is valued. You will find yourself surrounded by people who recognize your wisdom. You will find doors opening that you once only admired from afar. You will step into environments that feel surreal at first, not because they are too big for you, but because you finally outgrew the smallness you once lived in. Do not question whether you belong there. You will belong not because of status, not because of resume, not because of connections, but because I placed you there. When I open a door, no one can close it. When I assign a seat, no one can replace you. When I elevate you, no one can diminish your place. These rooms will require authenticity, humility, courage, and discernment. And you will walk in carrying all four. You will not enter these rooms timidly. You will enter with grace, with confidence, with wisdom, with a quiet assurance that you are not stepping into these spaces alone. I am walking you in. These rooms will stretch you, refine you, and expand your life in ways you once only saw in glimpses and dreams. This is not imagination. This is coming. And when you find yourself in these rooms you once watched from a distance, you will know it was never your striving that brought you there. It was my hand, my timing, my intention, my favor, and you will walk in with the confidence of someone who knows exactly who placed them there. Feel this truth rise inside you like a wave of belonging washing over years of insecurity, because it will redefine the way you see yourself in every new space I lead you in. When you step into the rooms I am opening, you will not feel like an imposter. You will not feel like you are pretending. You will not feel like you slipped in by accident or that someone else deserves your seat more than you. Instead, you will feel an overwhelming sense of spiritual recognition, a feeling that whispers, I was made for this. I was prepared for this. I belong here. The fear of not being enough, the anxiety of being out of place, the hesitation of feeling underqualified, all of those are remnants of an older version of you, a version that no longer governs your identity. You are walking into these rooms as someone who has been shaped, matured, stretched, and strengthened. You will realize that the reason past opportunities felt intimidating is because the timing wasn't aligned. You weren't ready then, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, but you are ready now. Ready in ways you can't fully see yet. Ready in ways that will surprise even you. When you step into these rooms filled with influence, purpose, strategy, and destiny, you will feel a holy familiarity, as if your spirit had been rehearsing for this moment long before your mind ever understood it. You will not tiptoe. You will not shrink. You will not second-guess your presence. You will walk in with grace, with steadiness, with humble confidence, knowing these doors didn't open by luck, but by divine orchestration. And as you sit at these tables, speak in these conversations, stand in these environments, you will feel alignment rather than intimidation. You will feel purpose rather than pressure. You will feel peace rather than panic. The imposter feeling is breaking off your life permanently. Not because your achievements suddenly changed, but because you have changed. You no longer measure your worth by comparison. You no longer evaluate yourself through past failures or limitations. You no longer see yourself through the distorted lens of insecurity. You see yourself through truth, through purpose, through identity, through the grower. And because of that, when you enter these new rooms, you won't just feel confident, you will feel at home. For these are the places your destiny has been leading you toward all along. Let this revelation sink into every part of you that has grown weary from striving, pushing, and trying to force things into place. Opportunities in this season will not merely open. They will open effortlessly, naturally, and unmistakably because they are assigned to your name. You have lived through years where you had to work twice as hard for half the results. You knocked on doors that never budged. You tried to earn places that weren't yours. You pushed yourself into spaces that resisted you. But that was because those opportunities were not aligned with your destiny. What is yours comes without force. What is assigned to your name does not resist your presence. It welcomes it. In this season, you will witness a shift. You will see doors open without you having to pry them. You will find people reaching out to you rather than you chasing after them. You will receive invitations, connections, and conversations at moments that feel divinely timed. You will experience favor that surprises even you. This is not coincidence. It is alignment. When purpose, timing, and identity merge, opportunities flow instead of fight you. This does not mean you won't have to work. It means your work will finally bear fruit effortlessly because it will be rooted in the right soil. You will no longer waste energy trying to convince people of your value. They will see it. You will no longer exhaust yourself trying to be seen. You will be revealed. You will no longer chase after opportunities that drain you. You will attract opportunities that match your growth. Opportunities assigned to your name are not lost. They are not delayed. They are not competing with anyone else. They have been waiting for the version of you that now stands ready. And as these doors open, you will feel a deep sense of alignment, a knowing that says, "This is mine. This is right. This is where I'm meant to be." Effortless doesn't mean easy. It means guided. It means timed. It means graced. And everything graced flows naturally because it flows with purpose. The opportunities opening now are not random. They are heaven-timed. They are assigned, and they are coming directly to you. Let this truth transform the way you think about the blessings unfolding in your life, because it will end the fear that good things are fleeting. The favor that is coming upon you now is not temporary. It is not a momentary surge. It is not a brief season that will fade when circumstances change. This favor is a shift, a permanent transition into a new reality where blessing, alignment, clarity, and opportunity become your normal, not your exception. You have known seasons of blessing that felt short-lived, times where things finally went right only to fall apart again, moments where breakthroughs came but didn't last long. You braced yourself for disappointment because you believed good things were fragile. But in this new chapter, favor is not coming as a visitor. It is coming as a resident. It is becoming a lifestyle, a rhythm, a continuous flow. Not because you suddenly earned it, but because you have stepped into the identity and alignment required to sustain it. This favor will touch every area of your life: relationships, opportunities, resources, direction, creativity, confidence, decisions, peace. You will see things fall into place that you once stressed about. You will feel a grace on your steps that you once longed for. You will notice that things which used to take months will now take days. What once felt impossible will feel natural. What once drained you will now be handled with ease. This favor is not fragile because it is not built on external circumstances. It is built on internal transformation. It is built on who you have become through the stretching, the pruning, the waiting, the healing, and the growth. You are now someone who can carry blessing without letting it crush you, sabotage you, or confuse you. You are now someone who can hold favor with wisdom, humility, and discernment. So do not fear the good. Do not brace for the end. Do not wonder how long it will last. This is not a temporary blessing. It is a permanent elevation. You are stepping into a higher realm of living where favor is not an exception, but a continuous demonstration of the alignment, identity, and destiny now unfolding within you. Let this final truth thunder in your spirit with unshakable certainty, because it seals everything spoken over you in this entire journey. This right here, right now, is the moment destiny has been leading you toward. Not a moment on many, not a small step, not a coincidence. This is the moment, the threshold, the divine intersection where everything begins to make sense. The moment where past preparation meets present opportunity. The moment where identity meets calling. The moment where courage meets activation. The moment where revelation meets reality. Nothing can stop what I have begun in you. Not fear, not doubt, not the past, not the enemy, not your old story, not your former limitations, not unexpected challenges, not the opinions of others. My hand has been on your life since the beginning, guiding you, shaping you, protecting you, strengthening you, positioning you, always leading you toward this divine unveiling. This moment is not fragile. It is not uncertain. It is not dependent on human approval. It is anchored in my intention. And what I intend cannot be overturned. What I ordain cannot be blocked. What I anoint cannot be hindered. What I begin, I complete. You are stepping into destiny, not the imagined version, but the real one. The one your spirit has always sensed. The one your heart has always longed for. The one your journey has always pointed you toward. And as you move forward, you will not move with hesitation or fear. You will move with a quiet, powerful assurance that nothing can stop what is unfolding. You are ready. The moment is here. And destiny, true destiny, is now rising to meet you. Amen.